My friends, one last episode in 2025. We have season two cooking. It's gonna launch in 2 weeks. So, January. Okay, so we can start the year with the best energy and attitude. I cannot wait to share those episodes with you. I'm so excited because they've been so special to me, and recording them and hearing these people that I admire a lot, was so important to me that I cannot wait to share this with you. I hope it's as special for you that, and you can take some insights from these conversations. But I did want to post one last episode this year because this episode is about how to accomplish your goals in 2026, how to really stick to the things that are important to you and that you want to do instead of creating that list every year of 5,000 items and looking back at the end of the year and saying, what happened? Where did time go? What did I do? What did I do with my time? And feeling like a failure because you didn't do the things that you wanted to do, right? It sucks. Like this feeling of just looking back and remembering that you had a certain intention, but you didn't do that thing, that feeling sucks. It decreases your self confidence. It makes you feel like it's the reality. At least for me, it makes me feel so shitty, and sad with myself that I don't know. To me, it's very important that if I am going to do a list, that it's a realistic list, that it's a list that I can actually commit to, and that it helps set an intention instead of just overwhelming me. So, some of the things that I do, and keep listening, okay? Because it's going to sound very obvious, and you're probably going to be tempted to just close the episode because the first things that I'm going to say are extremely obvious. The first one that I want to tell you, let's set the foundation here for creating this list. The first thing that I want to tell you is accept the fact that your time, your energy, and your resources are limited. Stop thinking that just because the year is going to change, then everything else, your external conditions are going to change. All of a sudden, you're going to have 1,000 hours a day. And in those hours, you're going to be at the top of your energy levels, being able to do everything that you wanted, right? I'm not saying dream small, dream big, but in order to actually make dreams a reality, you don't have to do 5,000 things. You just have to do a few things really well. And somehow we feel so afraid of not adding this one thing or this other thing to our lists because everyone else seems to be doing that. So we fear that we're going to miss out. We fear that we're not going to be right or that, but you have time to develop the things in life that you want. It's not like you have to do everything in the next 12 months. So the first thing that I remind myself all the time, and I try to be very realistic about it, is the fact that our time, energy, and resources are limited. So if they are limited, I have to be smart about how I use my time, how I use my energy, instead of overcommitting. When we overcommit and create this list of countless items, what happens is that you mess up your self confidence. Because when you look back at the things that you wanted to do and you realize that you didn't do that, that makes you feel like you cannot rely on yourself. That makes you feel like you failed yourself. And that feeling already snowballs. So you're like, okay, I didn't do this. So deep down, a new year is going to come and you have all these ideas, but deep down, you feel like you cannot trust yourself. So to me, my word to myself is more important than committing to 5,000 items. I would rather be very honest. I would rather be very realistic and do the best with the time, energy, money, resources that I have. That's number one. Number two, when creating those that list of things that I want for the upcoming year, is realizing that it doesn't matter if I want something. What matters if I'm willing to pay the price for that thing. I can want so many things in life, and I do, but it's not everything that I'm willing to pay the price for. And understanding the difference between these two things is so important. I might want something, but this year I'm not willing to pay the price for it. So maybe next year, maybe another time. We only pay the price for the things that we're willing and ready to give our full yes to. When I say pay the price and when I say give your full yes to, it means that you're going to be okay saying no to other things because of that one thing. You're going to be okay and understand that you have to bring yourself to do that, even if you're sad. Doesn't matter. You're sad, you're happy, you're angry, you're whatever. Whatever happened on that day, I'm still going to do it because that thing is that important to me, you know? So you have to realize that those are very few things. We're not willing to pay the price for most things in life. But in order for you to be willing to pay the price for something, you have to actually value that thing in a very deep, deep, deep place in your heart. It's not just because so and so is doing it. It's not just because it sounds beautiful on paper. Something can sound beautiful on paper. The idea of it can be amazing. And I still, if I'm honest with myself, I'm still not willing to pay the price for it. I'm still not willing to wake up early to get that thing done. I'm still not willing to say no to my friends to get that thing done. I'm still not willing to set a boundary in my family to get that thing done. I'm still not willing to face my fears, my shame, my whatever to get that thing done. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if the idea is nice. I have to want it to the extent of paying the price for it. So instead of asking myself, what do I want for next year? I ask myself, what am I willing to pay the price for next year? Huge difference. And you're going to realize very soon that this list is very short. It's very short. So you come from an ideal of the human being that you want to become. But then when it comes to the goals that you're going to have and the tasks that you're going to pursue that year, then that has to be connected with what you're willing to pay the price for, right? And that is a conversation, by the way, about values and about priorities. And I have other episodes talking about this. So ask yourself what you value to that point. That's number two. Number three, okay, when you have this idea, when you have this mindset very clear and obvious, another point of this mindset is that for the things that you want to accomplish, you have to come to terms with the fact that you are the person responsible for that. It's not anyone else. It's not, just things are magically going to happen. You have to be like, yeah, accountable for your life. That's obvious. I'm not even going to say that. But anyway, the other point is one of the ways that I answer this question of what am I willing to pay the price for and find the answer, it's also asking what is the most important thing this year? The most important. One thing. If I have to select a theme for my year, one thing that most of my attention, most of my time, most of my focus is going to go towards, what is that thing? What is that one skill or experience that I want to have, that I want to develop, that really I'm going to prioritize above everything else that I want to do? Because in our day to day, what's going to happen is that life is going to swallow us. That's the reality. You end up spending more time in something than you thought you would spend. You end up, being too tired one day, one week. Doesn't matter. Like things are going to happen that you're going to have to juggle multiple things and you're going to have to let some balls drop. So you have to know which drop you're not willing to let ball, which ball you're not willing to let drop. So for me, I have like themes in my years. Like this year, I have one theme. Last year was very much around building resilience and endurance. And I did that through running a marathon. So I had certain goals, I had certain things that I wanted to accomplish long term. And I realized that if I wanted to accomplish those things, I have to build the habit of doing something even when I don't want to do that thing, doing something even when it's hard, doing something even when I'm extremely uncomfortable, of enduring the process, of enduring all the discomfort and things like that. Because life throws so many things at us that require resilience and we're going to have to develop that regardless, right? So but so many things that we don't want to happen, we're just quote unquote forced to go through. But I think it's important that we proactively seek certain opportunities and certain experiences that help develop a certain muscle in our minds, in our brains. So for me, resilience was one of that. And I also wanted to um just like not depend on external factors, just really like master the ability of showing up for myself without depending on motivation and stuff like that. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna run a marathon. I'm gonna run a marathon because it's gonna be hard as shit and it's gonna require so much from me and so much discipline and so much showing up for myself. So I'm gonna do that. So that was my biggest focus last year. I had so many more projects and things that I wanted to do. And I did them, by the way, because again, my list is small, it's short, and it's effective and efficient. But if I were to define like where am I going to spend the most energy, to me it was in building that skill. That skill was so important to me. I knew that other than for this one particular project or for whatever I wanted to accomplish, just for my life in general and my relationships and everything, that's a good skill to have. So it was really important to me to build that. So I was focused on that last year. But then again, I had other items as well on my list. In my podcast, what is the most important thing in my podcast? What is the most important thing in this other area of my life? So, understanding that I have limited time, understanding that I only prioritize the things that I'm willing to pay the price for, and those are the things that I truly value in a given time, then I created my list and I asked myself, what is the most important thing? Just so I know that when I'm juggling things and I have to let certain balls drop, I know which balls I'm going to let drop, basically. So, answering that question, my camera is like, I have my phone like in a window. My camera is just like falling. Anyway, but you see like the importance of that question, then you narrow your focus and your intention instead of just trying to do everything at the same time. So, everything that I set up until this point is for you to create your list. That part is already very important. That part needs to be very intentional. But once you have that, you have to know what to do with it. Because what many of us do is that we create the list, but that's it. We don't match our actions to our intention. So at that point, everything that we just thought about is just a fantasy. If I have an idea, if I have, an image on my mind, an intention, but I don't match that with action, then it's just fantasy. So we looked at the ideas part and how to make them more intentional. But now we have to look at the actions piece. How are you going to act upon that intention? The first thing that's very important to me is reconnecting with the intention. We tend to live life on autopilot. If we just surrender to the routine, we live on autopilot. If you don't have time to step away from the noise and reconnect with your intention, it's very easy to forget where you're targeting that year. It's very easy to just put your energy in survival mode and not in building mode. So, stepping away for a little bit can mean, I don't know, meditating. It can mean, every morning or every night, I'm going to set some time and space for myself to think about that day, to think about what happened in that day, to think about what I learned, what I want, to go back to my list and see how I'm progressing. So for me, I set time in the morning, usually, and I have like 20, 30-minute space just for myself to like light up my candle and do the things that I want to do. Okay. So to reconnect with that intention, that's very important. Your emotions have to be aligned with those intentions. And you only do that by being intentional about it. Too many times saying the word intentional and intentions, but being like proactive about seeking that time to reconnect with what matters. That's one. And then the second one is that you have to have a process. Jesus Christ. Dude, I have an octobud buddy. Oh my God, my octobuddy stayed in the window. I'm not gonna cut this because this is ridiculous. Okay. I'm gonna hold my phone. Oh no. Guys, this is so dumb, but I don't want to edit this video because I have too much to do. So like I'm not gonna have time to edit it. Okay. So the other thing is, okay, the objective part. So you have to have a process to support the execution of those tasks. Otherwise, again, just fantasy. So I'm reconnecting with my intention on a daily basis, okay, on a daily basis. And then the second thing that I'm doing is having a process that works for me to make sure that I'm on track. So when you have a goal in mind, a lot of people just stop in the goal level. Oh, I want this thing. I want to accomplish this thing. They don't understand that what actually gets you to the goal are tasks, are the things that you do every day. If I say, I want to run more, I want to work out more, that doesn't mean anything. How many times a week do I want to work out? What types of workout am I going to do? What time of the day am I going to do it? Like, there's so many other decisions and actions that you have to take in order to actually move towards that goal that if you don't break that down, nothing happens, right? So you have to break down your goals into tasks and create a process every day to follow those tasks. I said it before, I don't overcommit. I only commit to the things that I know I can get done. Because again, I understood how frustrating it is to be, at the end of my day, look back and say, I didn't do any of the things that I committed myself to do. And not because I didn't do anything at all, but because I overcommitted. That messes up my self-confidence. And my self-confidence is too important because it's the fuel that allows me to do everything else. That makes me believe and know that I can do what needs to be done and I can do these things for myself. I cannot mess that up. So my word needs to mean something. Therefore, I don't overcommit. I commit to the things that I know I can get done. And in a certain week, it's going to be less things. In a different week, it's going to be more. But, and I don't say this in a way that like, oh, so just do the bare minimum. That's not it at all. But do the things that you know you can get done. And push yourself and understand that you're not going to do it just because you're in the mood for to do them. No, like if you want something, you do it regardless of your mood. But you understand what I'm saying, right? I don't have to over explain. Like you don't have to have a thousand things in your day. So for me, the way that I created this process, it's so silly, it's so simple, but it works for me. And I've tried so many different systems. Okay. I've tried so many different tools and whatnot. What I do is every week I set my tasks for that given week. So every day, okay, I have a notes app. It's ridiculous. It's literally just an old notes app. It's not Notion. It's not anything. So I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I just create the tasks, okay, in my notes app. Oh, tomorrow I have to do X, Y, and Z. And again, always going back to the things that I want to build, not just surviving, not just the chores that I need to get done. That too, because it's part of my day, obviously, but also going back to the things that I want to create. Anyway, so then I do that every week, every like Sunday. And then every single day, I open my notes app, I see the things that I have to do, I check the boxes when I get them done, and I look at the end of the day, I check what I have for the next day. I'm like, okay, next day I have to do X, Y, and Z. And when I see that I'm probably going to have to let some balls drop, then I ask myself on that day, okay, this is not going as expected. What is the most important thing for me today? So that I don't let that one thing fall, right? So you see that it's a continuous process of being honest with yourself with the time that you have, being aware of the time that you have, being very selective with how you spend that time, and adjusting if you have to. But again, based on a value, based on something that you really care about in a very intentional way. So without those types of things, and I say this, especially if you're not an organized person, a person that likes to plan, which is my case. It used to be like I'm not naturally a person that is just super, that plans and is a huge planner and that is super organized. I'm not. So I had to build that skill. And the way that works for me is what I just talked about. So that really helps make sure that I'm on track. That really helps make sure that I'm not losing sight of what's important and I'm not just entering survival mode. So anyway, my loves, was this extremely obvious? I hope that it was. I hope that it was because really it should be. It's not that complicated. It's just that we overcomplicate it. We look at people online doing so many things and we compare ourselves to too many people and then we think that the way that they're living life is the right way to live life and we try to somehow squeeze in everything that they're doing to our routine without even really caring for that thing on a deep level or without being willing to pay the price for them. So this year is the year to be honest with yourself and to remember that your word needs to mean something. That self-confidence is built when you understand that you can rely on yourself. And in order for you to rely on yourself, you have to dream big, always, always, always. But you have to also be realistic of understanding of this amazing dream that I want to accomplish. What are the realistic tasks that are going to take me there that are adjusted to my routine and that I can actually execute on so I see progress. Other than that, my loves, we're gonna have an amazing year. 2026 is gonna be beautiful. I fully believe in that. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Season 2. Let's do it.